July Madam is an iconic song, especially for people who grew up, in the early 90s. It is iconic. It's very special, and it was also that புதுசா அந்த ஒரு கிட்டாரோட sound in that music was something that stood out அப்படின்னு வந்து சொல்லலாம். ஸோ உங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த பாட்டு பண்ணும்போதோ நீங்களும் ஏஆர் ரஹ்மானும் சேர்ந்து ஸ்டுடியோல உட்காந்து நீங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் வேலை பண்ணும்போது, did you ever think that this song is going to be so big and it's going to be celebrated for the next few decades, if not more?
எனக்கு என்ன பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் நான் அப்படி திங்க் பண்ணல. ஐ நெவர் எக்ஸ்பெக்டட் இட். பட் இன் ஹைண்ட்சைட் இன்னைக்கு பார்க்கும்போது, when you look at the Tamil film industry, the two most iconic guitar based songs, one is of course Ilayanila Polgirathu, Ilayaraja, and the other one is Julai Madam Vandal of A.R. Rahman. And so for me to have played guitar on probably the most well-known guitar based Tamil song along with Ilayanila, I think is pretty interesting to say the least. இதுல என்ன interesting thingனா, both Ilayanila Polgirathu and Julai Madam uses nylon string acoustic guitar, classical guitar, for the lead portions. So usually the usual formula is the lead guitar always tends to be electric guitar, and the rhythm guitar tends to be acoustic guitar. That's coming from a whole folk rock and rock background. But Ilayaraja broke that with Ilayanila Polgirathu, where all the lead guitar portions were on nylon string classical guitar, and the accompaniment was an electric guitar. And interestingly enough, Julai Madam Vandal, when we recorded the song, I took an electric guitar at Rahman studio, and Rahman பார்த்துட்டு, என்ன எலக்ட்ரிக் எடுத்துன்னு வந்திருக்க, nylon string classical இல்லையா? No, I didn't have one. And then he had one in the studio. And லாஸ்ட் மினிட்ல 2 ஸ்ட்ரிங்ஸ் எல்லாம் இல்ல, அந்த ஸ்ட்ரிங்ஸ் எல்லாம் இங்க எந்தோ எடுத்துட்டு வந்து புது ஸ்ட்ரிங்ஸ் போட்டு, and then we just recorded. So in hindsight, lots of interesting things. That was the first film recording I had ever done. Secondly, that was the first time I recorded with A.R. Rahman for a movie. And thirdly, that was the first time I ever played a nylon string classical guitar.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect that.
So on all three counts, it was a very special song. Also, song special இருந்ததும் ஒன்னு, இன்னொன்னு ரஹ்மானோட அப்ரோச் also very special. அவர் என்கிட்ட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அந்த song, all the portions he played on the keyboards and gave it to me, and he said, whatever you feel like playing on the guitar, you play, and if you don't like what I played, you can also change it. I had never heard any music director say something like that. That showed how open he was.
Okay.
And I didn't have to change much, but I did add a few interesting things when I played, which turned out to be very nice.
Nice. And what does it do to you as an artist when you get that level of creative freedom in any project that you work? உங்களுக்கு வந்து அது is it motivating, or does it give you a little bit of anxiety and stress to go, ஐயோ நம்மள என்ன வேணா பண்ண சொன்னாங்களே, do I have to do it? அந்த மாதிரி I'm just curious to know, as a creative person, how does that feel?
இல்ல, எனக்கு அந்த மாதிரிலாம் ஒண்ணும் இல்ல. It was more like having fun. And of course, Rahman and I were good friends before we recorded Pudhiya Mugam, and we had recorded other projects in the studio, although not for movies. So we were having a very good camaraderie, so to say. Another there was no, but the same thing when I record with all music directors. The same approach had always been there, about being open and getting some inputs from me. So it has always been fun.
Okay, nice. And நீங்க சொன்னதுனால கேக்குறேன், I know that நீங்களும் ரஹ்மானும், you were not just like, that was not the first time you worked, your friends, and also the last time when you came here, because I'm like a very big A.R. Rahman fan, you told me about how he sent you an email when he got his first email ID and things like that. So I just wanted to know if you can share like something not about music, but something really funny or something that really reminds you of A.R. Rahman, or things that you would do as friends and buddies.
Actually, I just wanted to, நீங்க சொன்னது was the reverse When I got my first email ID, the first person I emailed was Rahman.
Okay.
And I was in Berkeley and said, "Hey, now I have email," and like Tapali email back saying, "Welcome to the club." Um, yeah, அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய wonderful incidents happened.
Mhm.
I think MTV Coke Studio is a milestone project as far as my collaboration with AR Rahman goes.
Yeah.
Um, that was another situation where his main thing was I want to have you, me, and Shivamani do things like
Mhm.
old times.
Mhm.
That's how he called me and said, "Let's do
That's how
something."
the project started, the Coke Studio order project.
I don't think that's how it started. I think he had already planned the project, but
Okay, got it.
பட் நான் எதேச்சியா ஏஆர பார்க்கறதுக்கு ஸ்டுடியோ போன போது he said, "Hey, I have this project coming up.
Mhm.
Uh, you, me, and Shivamani should get together and jam like old times." But I think other things had already been figured out. அப்புறம் the the global nature of the project, அதில் வந்து when we were doing the rehearsals, there was a track, Aw Balman, which is a very well-known Hindustani,
Mhm.
light Hindustani piece.
Yeah.
Bandish, I think so, although I'm not sure. அந்த ஆவ் பால்மா அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணும்போது
Mhm.
ஆர்கானிக்கா we were doing things. அப்போ வந்து உஸ்தாத் குலாம் முஸ்தபா கான், his son and his grandson, all three
Wow.
were there, and it was a very beautiful experience. ஸோ அவங்க பாடும்போது அதுலேருந்து வந்த சில ஐடியாஸ் வச்சு I started jamming
Nice.
on the guitar, and then Rahman was putting the arrangement together, and then he came up with this idea. Hey, why don't you and Ustad Ghulam Mustafa Khan do a some kind
Jugalbandi.
of Jugalbandi.
Yeah.
So that idea came out to be a very interesting one, and so there was this very interesting guitar and
Mhm.
vocal and guitar section in between the song,
Mhm.
which took the song, I think, on a different space, and then everything else எல்லாமே அதுல சரியா வந்தது. And
Mhm.
also me, Mohini Day, and Shivamani, we were doing some things in the song. Me and AR were doing some things in the song separately, just guitar and piano, and then I got a chance to do things with um, um, Mustafa Ghulam Mustafa Saab. So all of these things were happening in the same song. Somehow, all credit to
Okay.
Rahman for putting it in a very fun way
Yeah.
together. And இன்னைக்கு கூட so many people around the world recognize me for
Oh, Coke Studio.
the Coke Studio project. People that otherwise don't know a lot of my own work.
Mhm.
So yeah, very thankful to Rahman for that also.
Yeah, that's so nice. And I know that if you let me, I can talk about Rahman forever. But we're gonna go ahead. Last time நீங்க வந்து லண்டன்ல வந்து last May you came to London and you did this show called Ilayaraja 80, and it was so beautiful. And அப்பதான் வந்து we did talk a lot about your music and your interactions and your influence of Ilayaraja's music in your career while you were growing up. And உங்களுக்கு கிட்டார் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கிடைச்சதும் உங்களுக்கு அந்த மாதிரி இளையராஜா பாட்டெல்லாம் வாசிக்கணும்னு ஆசைப்பட்டீங்க அப்படின்லாம். So do you want to tell me about your influence, how Ilayaraja's music had influenced you, and why did you want to play his song in your guitar?
In fact, Ilayaraja Airam function, which was held in Chennai to
Mhm.
celebrate his 1000th film year film uh, celebrations. Adila, I was one of the main featured artists. I actually brought my band from New York to play a special segment. And அப்போ நான் வந்து நான் ஸ்டேஜில் I said, நம்ம உலகத்தில் எங்கெங்கேயோ போகிறோம், we take a lot of experiences,
Yeah.
everything. எல்லாம் வந்துட்டு வீட்டில் அம்மா சாப்பாடு சாப்பிட்ற மாதிரி இளையராஜாவோட மியூசிக். That is, we all come home to
Yeah.
it, right? You can never, அதே மாதிரி I said, you can take me out of Ilayaraja, but you can never take Ilayaraja's music out of me.
Mhm.
These are two things I remember saying on stage.
Mhm.
That is very true. In fact, இளையராஜாவுடைய மியூசிக் இல்லைனாக்கா I don't even think I would have become a musician,
Mhm.
or I would have even played the guitar.
Mhm.
So in many ways, his influence is the defining influence in my music. All other influences concurrently happened. But if I have to pick one biggest influence in my musical life, definitely it is Ilayaraja. And there is a very interesting thing that happened when I was 12 years old or 11 years old. பயணங்கள் முடிவதில்லை படம் வந்தது. அண்ட் என்னுடைய கிட்டார் டீச்சர் மிஸ்டர் சண்முகராஜ், அவர் வந்து he didn't have a cassette player in his house.
Okay.
ஸோ எங்க வீட்டில் சொல்லிக் கொடுக்க வரும்போது he kept on playing இளைய நிலா cassette to learn from it. And I got very intrigued when I heard that song. And one night நான் வந்து சரி நம்மளே கத்துடலாம் அப்படின்ட்டு போட்டு 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 அந்த கேசட் எல்லாம் இதுவாகி நெக்ஸ்ட் டே கேசட் எல்லாம் போயிடுச்சு. So that's how I learned that song. So that is another very important memory. It was like learning a song like Ile Nila was like an accomplishment, right? Especially this section. First time கேட்டபோது all these little segments, right? And even at the end, Tamil filmsல இந்த மாதிரி melodic ideas எல்லாம் அது வரைக்கும் கேட்டதே கிடையாது. Definitely, or if I can even say arguably in Indian cinema, இந்த மாதிரி இன்னைக்கு வந்து I know what is going on. என்ன பண்ணாரு, ஓகே இங்க C sharp minor chord வச்சுட்டு he created this idea, இங்க B major chord arpeggio, whatever it is. அதெல்லாம் தான் master classல I'm going to explain all of those things.
Sure.
எப்படி how did he come up with the melody for SPB? Is it based on a Carnatic raga மாதிரி ஐடியாவா, இல்ல வேற ஸ்கேல் ஐடியாவா, ஃபோக் மியூசிக் ஐடியாவா? எதுவுமே கிடையாது. இதெல்லாம் வந்து கிட்டார் கார்ட்ஸ்ல இருந்து வந்த ஐடியாஸ். அதே மாதிரி அந்த பாட்டுல பின்னாடி எலக்ட்ரிக் கிட்டார்ல இளைய நிலா பொழிகிறதே போகுமே கண்கணக்காடுமே விழாக்காடுமே வானம். இப்ப நான் வாசிக்கிற இந்த எக்ஸாக்ட் சவுண்ட் இஸ் தேர் இன் தட் சாங். இப்ப நான் வாசிக்கிற அதே ஃபேசர் பெடல் தான் அவர் சதா வாசிச்சிருக்காரு. எக்ஸாக்ட் சவுண்ட் இதே மாதிரி தான் அவர். This is the exact sound.
Nice.
Like even by coincidence, I had the exact same pedal that was used in the song. So, அந்த மாதிரி எவ்வளவோ சாங் இருக்கு. இனிஷியலா வந்து அந்த இளையராஜாவோட கிட்டார் ஓரியன்டட் சாங்ஸ், அதே எண்ணினைய பொன்னிலாவே, all of those things was the main influence for me outside of Western music, but also his Carnatic songs.
Yeah.
In fact, my first exposure to Carnatic music was through Ilayaraja's Carnatic songs.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yesudas and SPB sang. In fact, அப்பெல்லாம் வந்து Carnatic musicல எனக்கு இன்ட்ரெஸ்டே கிடையாது.
Okay.
When something like a இப்போ இந்த ஹம்சானந்தி ராகம்னு எடுத்துனாக்கா there are so many songs of Ilayaraja in that ragam. அதனாலே ஹம்சானந்தி ராகம் எனக்கு ஃபுல்லா I was able to get ragams like ஹம்சானந்தி, ஹிந்தோளம், பந்துவராளி, right? So my Carnatic learning also jump started very quickly by focusing on Ilayaraja's music, which helped me a lot in my Carnatic learning also.
Nice. That's so nice. And உங்களுக்கு வந்து இளையராஜா ஆயிரம்ல வந்து நீங்க வந்து போய் you were one of the main artists அப்படின்னு வந்து சொன்னீங்க. What is the most memorable thing from there in terms of not about Ilayaraja but about your performance? What did you really enjoy about your performance that day?
First of all, it was in YMCA Nandanam. There were like about 20,000 people. And everybody else pretty much performed Raja Sir songs with vocals.
Yeah.
As far as I know, mine was the only segment in the entire 4-hour event, which was completely instrumental.
Wow. Yeah.
And not only that, mine was the only one which actually had a bass player from the US and a drummer from Brazil. So we all
international
is able to fly in all of them to do this tribute. And not only that, இப்போ I did a medley of அந்திமழை பொழிகிறது and தூங்காத விழிகள் ரெண்டு.
Mm-hmm.
I did ஹே உன்னைத்தானே. I did all these songs as a guitar trio.
Mm-hmm.
It's just guitar, bass, and drums. That was unique, and it was so well received amongst songs which were sung by SPB sir, Chitra, everybody. But I also did another very interesting segment or unplugged segment with me, singer
Nice.
Karthik, and the director Gautam Menon.
Oh, wow.
Just the three of us.
Yeah.
So our Gautam Menon was kind of moderating that, and he was talking about his most influential Ilayaraja songs. And Karthik and I did an unplugged segment of many of Raja sir's songs
Nice.
with just voice and guitar. And Gautam Menon also joined in. So that was also very interesting.
Nice.
And even more remarkable was the fact that I got a chance to perform Ilayanila Porigirathu with SPB sir and Ilayaraja's orchestra, which was like homecoming, like I said.
Yeah.
The song which was a big influence in my growing up years.
Nice.
One day I was performing with SPB sir and Ilayaraja's orchestra. All of this happened in that one evening. I felt very good because Raja sir gave so much importance to me, and he personally was there during all of these segments.
That's so beautiful. Englikaga, can you play Ilayyanila? I know you played in bits, but do you think we can play together, like over 30 seconds together?
Sure.
Oh, it is so heart melting. 17th of May, you're coming again to London, and I can't wait for that to happen. But this time, when you're coming with three pieces of, three segments in that one day. You have a workshop, you have a masterclass, and you also have a concert. I think workshop and concert, நீங்க போன வாட்டி வந்தோன்னு நீங்க பண்ணதுனால, I think I know what to expect. But masterclass is something that a lot of people are like, oh, நம்ம musician-ஆ இருக்கணுமா அதுக்கு போறதுக்கு அப்படின்னு எல்லாம். And I was like, no, you just have to come and watch magic and listen to stories அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. But if you want to define the masterclass and tell people what it is all about, how would you do that?
So the masterclass is called Understanding the Music of Ilayaraja and A.R. Rahman. I've done this in about 30 different cities
Nice.
all over America. And we've had we've had like thousands of people come and enjoy this. And the unanimous reaction from everybody who has attended these master classes are we're never going to listen to Ilayaraja and Rahman's music the same way that we were listening to. The whole listening process is going to get transformed, and we are now going to listen to it in a very different light. This is the reaction of everybody across the board. And that is my goal too.
Okay.
Number one, both Ilayaraja and A.R. Rahman rendu perum have been a huge influence in my musical journey. Number two, these two have completely changed the landscape of Indian music, and taken it to directions that nobody expected,
Yeah.
and also have created so many other music composers who came only because of this influence.
Yes.
So they are probably two of the strongest influences for everybody in
On film music.
music, and not just in film music. If you look at the range of music that Ilayaraja and A.R. Rahman have uh, have have been covering in their huge body of work, is pretty much every kind of music that you can imagine in the world is there somewhere. Now, I am a composer and arranger in my own right, and my background is somewhat connected to Ilayaraja and Rahman's background, but also have a different background. I came to Berklee College of Music. I worked a lot with big band jazz. I studied classical composition. I play Carnatic guitar, which was something that wasn't
You were a
there much
pioneer
before.
in it.
So my influences of being a guitar player, playing Carnatic music, rock, jazz, blues, and other things, and as a composer dealing with jazz, rock, and classical music and all this. So I am able to see things in a certain way that is I would say, my signature. And அதுலேருந்து அந்த vantage pointலேருந்து இளையராஜாவோட மியூசிக்கோ இல்லை ஏஆர் ரஹ்மானோட மியூசிக்கோ பார்க்கும்போது there's some new ways of looking at it that I have figured out,
Nice.
which are not what is explained when people talk about music. For example, இப்போ இளையராஜாவோட மியூசிக் பத்தி when you see a lot of people talk about it, they're talking about the Carnatic influence. இந்த பாட்டு இந்த ராகம்ல இருக்கு, அந்த பாட்டு அந்த ராகம்ல இருக்கு. That is good. Of course, no denying that. But nobody talks about the orchestration. Nobody talks about how that Sundari Kannal வந்து அந்த ஒரு very standard Indian melody and the trumpets and trombones, what are they doing, right? எதனால வந்து இளையராஜாவோட சாங்ல வந்து ஃப்ளூட் பீஸ் எல்லாம் எல்லாருக்கும் பாட தெரியும், ரைட்? வெறும் வோக்கல் மெலடி மாத்திரம் எல்லாருக்கும் ரீச் பண்றது இல்லையே. இன்ஃபேக்ட் என்னோட மாஸ்டர் கிளாஸஸ்ல நிறைய பேர்கிட்ட ஐ ஆஸ்க் தி சிம்பிள் क्वेश्चन, வாட் சாங் இஸ் திஸ்? எவ்ரிபடி ஆன்சர்ஸ் கரெக்ட்லி, பூங்காற்று. நான் பாட்டே வாசிக்கலையே, that's all. Everybody knows what it is. If I play, lots of Raja fans would know, இளம் பனி துளிர் விடுமே, ஒண்ணுமே இல்லை, I just played one chord. Right? அந்த அளவுக்கு his music has gone into people's mind. நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து they want to know what it is that is hitting them. It is not always the vocal melody. எல்லாமே vocal melodies. Okay, there are some beautiful vocal melodies, of course இருக்கு. Okay, yeah, அதெல்லாம் இருக்கு. But there are also vocal melodies in Ilayaraja songs which goes இதுல ஒண்ணும் மெலடியே இல்லையே, இந்த சாங் ஹிட் ஆச்சு? மெலடி, there is no ragam in it, nothing. ஒரே நோட் தான் வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. அதெல்லாம் எங்க இருந்து வந்தது? How did he get ideas like that? ஏன்னா எல்லாரும் வந்து நம்ம யூசுவலா how do we people do, they think like, oh, you have to think of a ragam, right? That is the approach. How can he come up with a song like, right? How come that song became a hit? So what else is going on? Is it only the vocal melody and the lyrics? No. It depends on what the drummer is playing. It depends on what the bass is playing. அது தேவனின் கோவில் அந்த பாட்டு எடுத்துட்டாக்கா, அந்த பாட்டுக்கு பின்னாடி வர பேஸ் கிட்டார் லைன்ஸ் probably define the song's mood. Right? இது வந்து எல்லாருக்கும் வந்து டெக்னிக்கலா தெரியாது, ஆனா they feel it. அதனால இந்த மாஸ்டர் கிளாஸ் அவங்க அட்டெண்ட் பண்ணும்போது they don't need to have any musical knowledge. They don't need to know anything. That is what I'm going to take care. What I'm going to do is to actually make them see it through their own lens. But I'm defining their lens.
Nice.
என்ன லென்ஸ்ல இருந்து பார்க்கணும்ன்றது I'm giving it to them.
But then they are going to watch it and experience it themselves.
இளையநிலா பொழிகிறது வந்து if I play தமிழ் மியூசிக் பத்தி தெரிஞ்ச எல்லாருக்கும் அது என்ன பாட்டுன்னு தெரியும். Right? அதுல if I play even this, என்ன பாட்டுன்னா எல்லாரும் சொல்லுவாங்க இளையநிலான்ட்டு. அதுல
Yeah.
ஒண்ணும் மெலடியே இல்லையே.
Yeah.
Right? எப்படி how did he bring all this? How did he bring this consciousness into
Mhm.
people's mind? அதுக்கு அவர் என்னெல்லாம் மியூசிக்கல் டூல்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணாரு, அதை வந்து I'm going to talk about. I'm going
Nice.
to talk about his rhythms. I'm going to talk about his orchestration. அவர் அந்த how does he do these? இப்போ ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் பொத்தி வச்ச மல்லிகை மொட்டுல ஒரு செக்ஷன்ல வந்து ஒரு நாதஸ்வரம், there's a nadaswaram like that. Behind that there is a nylon string acoustic guitar, அதுக்கு பின்னாடி ஒரு பேஸ் கிட்டார். ரைட், இது வரைக்கும் நாதஸ்வரம், நைலான் ஸ்ட்ரிங் அக்கூஸ்டிக் கிட்டார் அண்ட் எலக்ட்ரிக் பேஸ் கிட்டார் யூஸ் பண்ணதா சரித்திரமே கிடையாது.
Wow. And நீங்க சொல்ற வரைக்கும் அது வந்து யோசிக்கவே முடியல.
அந்த 3 இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட்டையும் சரியா தெரிஞ்ச பீப்புளே ரொம்ப கம்மி. நாதஸ்வரம் தெரிஞ்சவங்களுக்கு நைலான் ஸ்ட்ரிங் அக்கூஸ்டிக் கிட்டார் பத்தி தெரியாது. நைலான் ஸ்ட்ரிங் அக்கூஸ்டிக் கிட்டார் பத்தி தெரிஞ்சவங்களுக்கு நாதஸ்வரம்னு ஒன்று இருக்குன்னு நிறைய பேருக்கு தெரியாது. எலக்ட்ரிக் பேஸும் நாதஸ்வரமும் சேர்ந்து வாசித்தே கிடையாது. அது எப்படி அந்த சாங்ல அந்த ஒரு சடன்லி அந்த ஒரு இடத்துல அவர் எப்படி அதை கொண்டு வந்தாரு, எப்படி கொண்டு வந்தாரு, வாட் இஸ் ஹி டூயிங், வாட் இஸ் த நாதஸ்வரம் டூயிங், வாட் இஸ் த அக்கூஸ்டிக் கிட்டார் டூயிங், வை டு யூ லைக் பொத்தி வச்ச மல்லிகை மொட்டு, இட் இஸ் ஒன்லி பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் த லிரிக்ஸ் அப்படின்னு நீங்க நினைக்கிறீங்களா, இல்ல அதுக்கு பின்னாடி வேற ஏதோ நடக்கிறதுனாலதான் நீங்க அந்த பாட்டுக்கு அந்த ஒரு லிஃப்ட் இருக்கா? இதே அந்த பாட்டை வெறும் தம்பூராவோட கேட்டா எப்படி இருக்கும்? சோ இதெல்லாம் வந்து nobody is, because his music is cerebral. ரைட், அதுல என்ன நடக்கிறதுன்னு புரியறது நிறைய பேருக்கு, அந்த மியூசிஷியன்ஸ்க்கு சரியா they don't know. So I also want to bring it out to the musicians. Lots of people play Ilayaraja songs with the wrong chords, and because they do not know why he came up with those kind of chords. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes நான் வந்து ஏதோ பெர்க்லில ஏதோ ஜாஸ் காம்போசிஷன் படிக்கும்போது திடீர்னு ஏதோ ஒரு விக்ரம் சாங், that is what he did, right? அந்த மாதிரி I want to bring in my experience, bring in my knowledge, and connect it with what he is doing and put it in simple terms that will make people relate to the song, so that they understand that it's not like MK Tyagaraja Bhagavathar song where அந்த பாட் மாத்திரம் இருந்தாக்க போறோம், பின்னாடி இங்க என்ன நடக்குதுன்னு யாருக்கும் அவ்வளோ இல்லை. இங்க அப்படி இருக்க முடியாது. The same thing with Rahman's music also, which is also why I'm doing both together.
Doing both A.R. Rahman and Ilayaraja. That's so nice, and obviously I'm looking forward to it. And I think there's two ways of looking at things. One, you just listen to music and it just creates magic, and the other way of looking at it is understanding the depth of that magic, understanding the process of what exactly creates that magic, like what makes me feel that way, and just knowing that that can be decoded is a great feeling for me right now. Like ஏன்னா நிறைய வாட்டி ஒரு ஏஆர் ரஹ்மான் பாட்டா இருக்கட்டும் இல்ல இளையராஜா பாட்டா இருக்கட்டும், எனக்கு வந்து லிரிக்ஸ் நிக்க கூட நிக்காது மைண்ட்ல, பட் அந்த டியூன்லாம் வந்து டக்குன்னு இருக்கும். I'll be like இங்க வந்து இந்த மாதிரி சவுண்ட்ஸ் வரும், அதெல்லாம் வந்து இருக்கும். So it's just, and sometimes I feel என்னடா நமக்கு லிரிக்ஸ் எல்லாம் தெரியவே இல்லையா, யாராவது என்ன பாட்டுன்னு கேட்டா பேர் தெரியாதே நமக்கு, ஆனா மியூசிக் நல்லா மைண்ட்ல ஞாபகம் இருக்கே அப்படின்னு.
But lyrics is very important. I also wanted to, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. ஒரு பாட்டுனாக்கா லிரிக்ஸும் சாங்கும் தான் முக்கியம். The rest are playing complementary roles, but not subservient to each other.
Nice.
Right? அதுதான். இப்போ if vocalist is the CEO, right? Ilayaraja is the chairman, vocalist may be the CEO, right? And somebody else, the guitar player may be the CFO, the drummer may be the CTO, the keyboard player may be the COO, right? That's it. It's like a board. It's like a corporate structure. You can't say like the CEO alone is important, the rest எல்லாம் கேட்கவே வேண்டாம், right? And Ilayaraja made sure that you cannot do that. Because அங்க பின்னாடி எஸ்ஜானகி வோக்கல் வரும்போது பின்னாடி ஒரு 1000 things வந்துட்டு இருக்கும். You cannot escape it. Now இதே பிரின்சிபல் when A.R. Rahman, இப்போ இவங்க ரெண்டு பேருக்கும் நிறைய வித்தியாசம் இருக்கு, நிறைய சிமிலாரிட்டிஸ் இருக்கு, ரைட்? இளையராஜா மியூசிக் பத்தியாவது நிறைய பேர் அட்லீஸ்ட் there is there's a lot of information. Carnatic musicians have talked about how he uses Carnatic. Some people have talked about how he uses bass guitar. Yes, there are lots of information. The way I do it is very different, and the way I do it is அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் த மியூசிக் நான் சொன்னதுக்கு காரணம், இட்ஸ் நாட் தட் யூ ஹவ் பை அட்டெண்டிங் மை மாஸ்டர் கிளாஸ் யூ வில் அட்டெண்ட் இட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் இட் டெக்னிக்கலி. நோ, அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் வை யூ are into the music of Ilayaraja and A.R. Rahman is what I'm getting at.
Nice.
When I say understanding, I meant understanding why you resonate with that.
Got it.
Not understanding it technically at every level, right?
Sure.
That's not the point. So, if A.R. Rahman எடுத்துட்டாக்கா, A.R. Rahmanoடைய music பத்தி there is absolutely nothing that anybody can figure out. There is nobody who's doing anything decoding the music of A.R. Rahman.
I have a question. I always have this thing with first time நான் A.R. Rahman பாட்டு கேட்டேன்னா எனக்கு பிடிக்கவே பிடிக்காது. I'll be like என்னடா பாட்டு இதுன்னு. ஆனா அது கேட்க கேட்க சடனா வந்து ஐயோ செமையா இருக்கு இந்த பாட்டு, ஏன் நமக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் பிடிக்கல அப்படின்னு தோணும். And that is a pattern. Like every time I listen to A.R. Rahman's songs first, I have not liked or I've not like enjoyed it. I've just been like okay fine அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. ஆனா அது கேட்க கேட்க திருப்பி திருப்பி ப்ளே ஆக இட் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் பிளேஸ் இன் யுவர் மைண்ட் அண்ட் தென் you just can't you can't stop thinking about the song, you can't stop humming it and things like that. Is it a me problem or is it actually is there anything technical to it?
No, there are some musical things. I'm going to talk about it. For example, one song of A.R. Rahman which I played, right? There is a section which goes like this. உங்களுக்கு தெரியுமா அந்த பாட்டு? All right, so that's something which I played. Okay, so I came up with that line. Now adhe பாட்டு, before this guitar comes in, there is nothing there. அந்த வோக்கல் இருக்கும், ஒரு பீட் மாதிரி ஒன்று இருக்கும், ஒரு டங் டெங் டங் டிங், ஒரு சித்தார் மாதிரி சவுண்ட் ஒன்று வரும், ஒரு தம்புரா மாதிரி ஒரு சவுண்ட் வரும், அவ்வளவுதான் இருக்கும் அதுல. That's all will be there. Right? He did not fill it up. So what he is doing, whereas when this comes, அதே மாதிரி அந்த அதே பாட்டுல சித்ராவோட வோக்கல்ஸ் வரும், அங்க ஒண்ணுமே இல்ல, வெறும் ஒரே ஒரு பீட் மாதிரி ஒண்ணு இருக்கும், ரைட்? வேற எதுவுமே இருக்காது. If you listen closely, second time you would have figured out what I'm doing it there. Okay, so there are all these little things that are left unfilled. இப்போ ஒரு நாவல் நீங்க படிக்கும்போது ஒரு இப்போ டாக்குமெண்ட்ரி பார்க்கறதுக்கும் ஒரு ஃபீச்சர் ஃபிலிம் பார்க்கறதுக்கும் வித்தியாசம் இருக்குல்ல. டாக்குமெண்ட்ரியில இருக்கிறத அப்படியே காமிப்பாங்க. With feature film, they also leave you certain things, especially about biographical films. There are lots of liberties that are taken. Right? இப்போ ஸ்ரீனிவாச ராமானுஜன், my father's grand uncle Srinivasa Ramanujan, அவரை பத்தி ஒரு டாக்குமெண்ட்ரி எடுக்கும்போது it will be one thing, but when the man who knew infinity, when the film comes, it is cinematically treated. Right? So there is some things that Rahman leaves out for the listeners to fill in their ears.
Wow. Okay.
And that is how he does it, why he does it, is what I'm going to talk about.
Wow.
I don't think anyone has even thought about these things. Because only if you are in the same zone, you would know what is going on. Because I do both the Ilayaraja style composing and Rahman style composing. I do the way Raja sir does, where I write a score in a piece of paper and pencil with nothing else. In fact, Laganodia title score, when I wrote the arrangement for Rahman, that's what I did. Verum paper la pencil la I wrote for the entire string orchestra. I did not even listen to it until I went and conducted it. Even I didn't know what I wrote.
Wow. Okay.
அப்படியும் பண்ணலாம். But I also do the same MIDI programming like the way Rahman does. So I use all the approaches. So therefore, in the approach பண்ணும்போது, I think of Rahman as the any form of electronic production. To me, Rahman sets the standard for the world.
Nice.
Any form of electronic production. There are other people who do it.
Mm.
There are other EDM composers and producers who do it,
Yeah.
but they don't have the compositional strength that Rahman has.
Mm.
And those are there. And then there are other people who like do great compositions, but they don't have the technological clarity that Rahman has.
Mm.
So when I contrast Raja Sir's music with A.R. Rahman's music,
Yeah.
the problem is that people compare their two styles,
Mm-hmm.
and that's exactly what I want to break. It's not about comparing these two styles for you to determine who's your favorite. That's not what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what is the approach between these two composers and what is their signature.
Mm.
Rahmanna ஒரு signature இருக்கு.
Mm.
The Rahman song கேட்ட உடனே you will immediately know. One of the signatures may be what you're talking about. First time எல்லாத்தையும் இந்தான்னு ஒரு பிளாட்டர்ல he does not give.
Mm.
Right? இப்போ நம்ம இலை சாப்பாடு சாப்பிடும்போது
Mm.
போடுறாங்கல்ல, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இத்தினூண்டு ஏதோ ஒண்ணு போடுவாங்க. ஒரு பனானா, ஒரு சுகர்.
Mm.
அது சாப்பிடலாமா வேண்டாமான்னு தோணும். அப்புறம் இத்தினூண்டு ஒரு சம்திங்.
Yeah.
Then little bit like there is something. And then one புளியோதரை will come. அப்புறம் அந்த ரைஸ் அண்ட் சாம்பார் வரதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு 1000 things will happen. எல்லாம் இத்தினூண்டு இருக்கும். But in totality,
you would enjoy it.
If you don't eat anything and you look at all these things, you're like, wow, there's a little bit of kara sevai, there's a little bit of this, there's a little bit of that, there's a little bit of this.
Mm.
That yellow sapadu without you eating
Yeah.
is the basis for understanding Rahman's music. And that is what I'm going to explain, how he does it.
Nice. I can't wait for it. Yes. So on the 17th of May at Bhavans, we have the masterclass coming. So please check bluefeatherevents.uk for more details about the masterclass.
So people don't need to know anything except இது எவ்வளோ சொன்னாலும் லைக் கிட்டார் எடுத்துட்டு வரணுமா, கீபோர்டு எடுத்துட்டு வரணுமான்லாம் people ask in the masterclass. No.
Yeah.
That is why it's called a masterclass. It's not a performance workshop.
Yeah.
I am the one who will be giving gyan.
Lovely.
உட்காந்து கேட்டா போறோம், அவ்வளவுதான்.
Nice. On the 17th of May, it is not just the masterclass and the concert, but you're also doing a workshop, which I think last time, we had done the workshop and we had a few people come into it. But in the நீங்க workshop பண்றீங்க, and this is one of the workshops where it is a performance workshop. You can come with your instrument, but I think like last time, it's not restricted only to guitar. Yeah? Do you want to talk a bit about the workshop and what to expect in that?
Yeah, the workshop is called Learn with Prasanna. I have people from all over the world wanting to study with me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only so many people I can teach personally. But I've also had people like, they're willing to fly from Australia, fly from UK, fly from anywhere, come and spend like 3 days with me and study with me. And a lot of people have done that. But then I want to take the workshop series to different parts of the world and have small groups of people. My workshops it's like in small groups from 5 to say 20 or something like that, not 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
So that we sit in a semicircle and play together.
Mm.
That is one thing unique about my workshops. Second thing unique about my workshops is it is open to people of all ages and all skill levels. யூஸ்வலா ஒரு பெர்ஃபார்மன்ஸ் ஒர்க் ஷாப் பண்ணும்போது ஒரு ப்ரீ ரெக்வெசிட்ஸ் இருக்கும். You should play this, you should play this, in the you should this thing. That is what I hate. I do not like that. I don't want prerequisites. So in our workshops you will see a 70-year-old rock guitar player and a 10-year-old Carnatic singer and maybe a 25-year-old bass player all attending in the same workshop.
Nice.
One will be coming from a heavy metal background, one will be coming from a Carnatic background, one will be coming from an Ilayaraja background. Mm-hmm. In fact, in my last workshop I did in Bay Area in March, there were 4 guitar students who not only have had a great time at the workshop, after that they actually formed a band and they've been like jamming every week.
That's so nice to know.
All of them are like quite far away from each other and all of them are working.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And because of these workshops, a lot of people have created associations among themselves. So number one, it is open to people of all ages, all skill levels. So சில பேருக்கு அந்த இது இருக்கும், if Prasanna is doing a workshop, maybe I have to I don't know if I'm good. இந்த இதெல்லாம் வரக்கூடாது, ஏன்னா மியூசிக்ல ஹைரார்கி இருக்கக்கூடாது. So that is another very unique thing.
Mm-hmm.
about these workshops. The third thing, the main thing is, no matter, even though it says guitar workshop, because if I say I'm doing a flute workshop, the first question people will say is, Prasanna doesn't play flute, how can he do a flute workshop?
Yeah.
அதுலேருந்து அவங்கள அந்த அதுலேருந்து வெளியில கொண்டு வரதுக்காக I'm calling it guitar workshop. I have students who study violin with me, tenor sax with me, piano with me, vocal, bass, drums, trumpet, trombone. I teach all of this,
Mm-hmm.
but people associate me with guitar,
Yeah.
right? And so the main thing is that most of the time guitar players come, and now it's called a guitar workshop. But there are times where, like, we have, like, for example, in my last workshop, we had a trombone player, a
Mm-hmm.
guitar player, a singer, like 3 keyboard players, right? And in another workshop in Dallas, which was supposed to be again a guitar workshop,
Mm-hmm.
we had a Carnatic singer, we had a bassoon player, we had a flute player. So all of this, number one, this workshop உடைய main purpose வந்து to motivate people to find their own ways of doing things.
Correct.
இப்போ ஒரு கிட்டார்னு எடுத்துட்டாக்கா, it is such a diverse instrument. Somebody can be playing like a this is authentic Carnatic Kalyani. Okay, there are some guitar players who play only Carnatic music because of their influence, because of them listening to me playing Carnatic music,
Mm-hmm.
and they may not play anything else. But then there are also other things. So if you hear guitar players play like, so
I
this
can't even believe that both those music came from the same instrument.
yeah, and then, like, you can also do stuff like this. You can also do a whole another thing. Classical style guitar playing, or you could play jazz. So you could play jazz guitar chords, you could play like metal, you could play blues. So the standard guitar blues idea. And now a lot of people are curious to know how I put blues and jazz together, how
Mm-hmm.
I put Carnatic and blues together. I think, people go like, where did that come from?
Mm.
Right? So one of the other things about the workshops is also to open up my world to people.
Nice.
How I do many different things on the guitar and how they can do the same thing. If a classical musicians go on the improvisation, they get like a little nervous
Mm.
because classical music, like, you're used to only reading and playing,
Yeah. Mm.
right? So how do I break that? What would a classical musician do if you put a classical violin player along with a jazz guitar player?
Mm.
What would a jazz musician do if you put them along with somebody who knows only SPB songs?
Yeah.
How can you bring the world together through all of these things is the big part about the workshop. அதனால
Nice.
இது வந்து மற்ற ஒர்க் ஷாப்ஸ் மாதிரி இல்லை. எந்த விதமான ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ஷன்ஸும் கிடையாது.
Mm-hmm.
I can pretty much find a connection between anybody as long as they play music.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that is the important part.
Nice. So we do have the workshop on the 17th of May, and it's happening in Bhavans as well. You can go into bluefeatherevents.uk for more details on it. This year, you're coming to London and Dublin. London on the 17th May and Dublin on the 18th May with your show called Around the World in 80 Songs. So, அதை பத்தி கொஞ்சம் சொல்ல முடியுமா? How did you get the name, and what exactly do we expect in your show?
Well, one day I was thinking about Jules Verne's book, Around the World in 80 Days, and then that gave me the idea. Why don't I do a concept tour called Around the World in 80 Songs? The first show I did was in Seattle, and it was a pretty big hit, and everybody loved it. And not only like the audience, like Ganesh Rajagopalan, who's the Grammy Award winning violinist with Shakti, he was there and he loved it. Then I did the show in New York, and again, once again, great audience. And we had like one of the world's top guitarists today, Alex Skolnick of the metal band Testament. He was there at the show. He loved it and um, talked about how so many things came together. Then I did the show in Chennai, which was a huge hit. And Ilayaraja's as guitar player, Sadanandam, he had come for the show and he came and he said no words to describe. So this show has done a lot of um, um, cities, and next is London and Dublin. So around the world in 80 songs is pretty much a guitar journey of 80 songs that are somewhere in the DNA of my musical life. And even though I keep changing the songs, because I don't just know 80 songs, there are probably about 3,000, 4,000 songs in my head. So they'll all come out somewhere. But the influences are so diverse because I can go from a Tyagaraja Kriti to a Metallica song to a Pink Floyd song and then connect it with an R.D. Burman song and then play a Tina Turner song and then play a West African song and connect it with a Celtic song. All of this is possible. And that is my way of bringing worlds together. For example, if I play something like this, um, now I mixed Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper and Tamira Tamira by A.R. Rahman. You won't even know the difference. It sounds like the same song. It's not the same song. So what is it? How is it connected? It's connected somewhere in my brain, right? And from there I can go to Ilayaraja's song from there, right? Adhe Mari, I can go from playing Jethro Tull's Locomotive Breath to going to a Purandaradasa Kriti. There is a way to do it. And that is pretty much my life, bringing all of these things together. So this is probably the only time ever anybody is going to ever hear how a Tyagaraja Kriti will lead into a Metallica song, will lead into a Pink Floyd song, and coming out of it into an R.D. Burman song. And it's going to be very unique. And there is something in it for everyone.
Nice.
So, and the best part was last time I did Ilayaraja 80, where I did 80 songs of Ilayaraja, and like, you saw how everybody loved it so much, and they couldn't even believe like what was coming right after.
Yeah.
And this time it's going to be like, many levels more. Because before you think, is that a John Denver song? And there it is like, oh, where is that? Like, is there oh, that's an R.D. Burman song. And from there you go there, what is going on? Like, and then you hear some jazz, all of these things together. So pretty much it's like my own life's journey. But this time people are going to hear a lot of their own favorites coming together in a way that they would never imagine. And so it's an intense, wild and crazy 2-hour experience. The best way to describe is imagine you're on a video game that goes from ice skating to scuba diving to trekking in the Himalayas to dune busting in a desert in Qatar to parasailing. That's the idea. The idea is to take you on a complete fantasy trip around the world through Carnatic music, through classical music, through jazz, through Brazilian music, through West African music, through Celtic music, through Bollywood, through R&B, through pop, and all of this, all connected through this lovely instrument called the guitar. and this weirdo called Prasanna.
And I must add that, the last time you came to London, I did not know that it would just be one person doing all of these things together. And நிறைய பேர் இந்த வாட்டியும் கேட்டிருக்காங்க, யாராவது சிங்கர் யாராவது வருவாங்களா, வேற என்ன இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட் ப்ளே பண்ணுவாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. And all I say is, he'd be one man, he'll be on the stage, it will be so captivating, but you can listen to all of the different sounds. Because last time நான் கேட்கும்போது I was like, கிட்டார் வச்சு வீணை மாதிரி வாசிக்கிறாரு, சடனா ட்ரம்ஸ் மாதிரி இருக்கு, என்ன நடக்குது அப்படின்னு. So I just wanted to.
It's like stand-up comedy, no? When did you last see stand-up comedy with a band?
Yeah.
Right? Stand-up
Yes.
comedy is done by one person.
Yeah.
Right? So this is stand-up guitar. Yeah. But the idea is that um, there are times where I would turn the guitar into a drum.
Mhm.
And the other interesting thing is that it's not that I'm going to have like karaoke tracks and other things behind it, you know.
Yeah.
அந்த
Yeah.
மாதிரிலாம் cheat எல்லாம் பண்ண மாட்டேன் நான். I will be the only one on stage. I will be playing only one instrument, but you will be hearing 10 instruments.
That's magic. And that is what you need to be there to witness, I feel.
Yeah. See, I am at a point where for my fans, I want to give an experience that they will never get anywhere else,
Mhm.
and an experience that they would have never imagined that they would get. If I can't do these two things, I'm just another musician in a crowded planet with so many musicians.
Yeah.
So I take I take this very seriously. I do not want to give a generic experience. Anybody can play music. Anybody can come with a band or like play by themselves and like do songs. That's fine. But to actually create an experience that people will think about 10 years from now, 15
Mhm.
years from now. I was there at that concert.
Mhm.
That experience is what I go after, and that is what I enjoy giving to people. So that's going to happen in
Thank
London and Dublin and in Amsterdam also.
Um, thank you. So yes, Around the World in 80 Songs is going to be playing in London on the 17th of May and in Dublin on the 18th of May. And you can find the tickets in bluefeatherevents.uk. நீங்க உங்களோட ஐஐடியில் படிக்கும்போது தான் நீங்க ப்ளூஸ் ஃபார் சரஸ்வதி அப்படின்னு ஒரு பாட்டு எழுதினீங்களா, or you performed it over there and you wrote it over there. So and அதே பேர்ல ஒரு கான்சர்ட் பண்றீங்க, and that is happening in Amsterdam on the 16th of May. So what is Blues for Saraswati, and what should people expect from that concert?
Blues for Saraswati is a code name that connects the different worlds that I'm going to connect through the music in Amsterdam. Blues for Saraswati is the name of a song that I composed when I was a first-year student in IIT Madras for a college competition.
Mhm.
And it is a blues, but it is also reggae.
Mhm.
And it also has hardcore Carnatic ragas in it. So how does blues, reggae, and Carnatic music come together?
Mhm.
That is Blues for Saraswati. And it is also like a code name for how many things come together. My focus on the Amsterdam concert is going to be on blues, jazz, Carnatic music, and Indian film music.
Mhm.
So I would be playing music which is my original music from my albums, and I will also be playing traditional Carnatic music. Would also be playing blues, jazz, and I will also be playing Ilayaraja songs, Rahman songs, and R.D. Burman songs. How I put all of these things together is coming under the code name Blues for Saraswati, and it's also a nod to my early composing days, which all happened in IIT Madras. So there's a connection to IIT also here. More importantly, I'm also returning to Amsterdam after over 10 years. I used to play in Amsterdam very often.
Mhm.
And I used to play with a Belgian jazz band called Akamoon, which is like a very, very incredible band. Then the last time I played in Amsterdam was with Trio Tirtha with pianist Vijay Iyer and tabla player Nitin Mehta. There's a venue called Beam House in Amsterdam where I've played many times, one of the most iconic jazz venues. And all the time I've played in Amsterdam before has been in a jazz setting.
Mhm.
So, And but Carnatic music has always been a big part of what I've played, whether it was with Tirtha, whether it was Akamoon, whether I had in my own concert tours a lot in Europe of Carnatic classical music. So European audiences respond to my way of connecting jazz and Carnatic music a lot. So I wanted jazz and Carnatic music to be an important part of the Amsterdam concert, so that the Indian diaspora
Mhm.
and the Dutch audience, the jazz listeners, the guitar players, the R.D. Burman fans, the blues players, the Prasanna fans who know my original music, all of them can come and experience a lovely evening in Amsterdam
Thank
on
you.
16th May.
Yes, it is on 16th of May and it's at Oba Theatre. For tickets, you can visit bluefeatherevents.uk.